Good evening and thank you for joining us. You're watching the 9 at Night. I'm Stephania Jimenez. So you got through today's cold weather, but tomorrow morning's commute may be a little trickier, and that's because timing with this winter storm is everything. Meteorologist Adam Caskey has your forecast.
Cold rain off and on all the way through Wednesday night, and it's going to be a progression of showers, I think, being the heaviest Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Mostly a cold rain, but you see these pink areas indicating freezing rain where it's colder north of San Antonio, particularly in the hill country. That's where we're going to have some major impacts consisting of up to 3/4 of an inch of ice. Northern Comal County, most of Kendall County, Kerr County, northern Bandera County, and that could lead to, well, obviously travel troubles, but even power outages likely in those areas all the way through midday Wednesday before we warm up. Tomorrow, mid-30s. Temperature is going to stay the same. Light rain, mist, drizzle off and on in nature, becoming heavier by Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's when the icing should be at its worst in the hill country. We're talking surface roads and even elevated roads, and then of course the tree limbs and power lines in the hill country being weighted down by the ice, likely causing some power outages. Around San Antonio, mainly just wet, cold rain, but notice by Thursday afternoon we're up to 50 degrees and clearing out. By Friday, sunny and 60s.
But let's talk about tomorrow. Drivers in the northern part of Bexar County have to be on the lookout for slick roads the next few days. Garrett Berger tells us about some of the precautions the state and county are taking and also what you should keep in mind.
Freezing temperatures are on their way. Combined with the forecasted rain, that could make for icy road conditions. KSAT has already been spraying salty brine on major roadways in the northern part of the county.
Not raining right now, so we're trying to get ahead of that. It's the overpasses and bridges where we do concentrate the most, especially with the pre-treatment.
Bexar County also making preparations to ensure its bridges are drivable, which it will take once temperatures hit freezing, though it uses a different approach than the brine KSAT uses.
We'll go check all the bridges, make sure there's no water on them, then we'll come by with the beet juice on them. And then we'll put a layer of rocks on top, and pretty much we'll do both sides.
If left untreated, he says, people can just slide right across the bridges.
We've seen a couple of guardrails being hit when it wasn't treated, so we're trying to get there before the people get there.
Even with pre-treated roads, KSAT recommends drivers don't travel if they don't have to. Well, the ones we talk to just plan to take it slow.
I've driven in Colorado, so it's like not that bad.
One man says he has to drive to Dallas and then Houston. He hopes four-wheel drive will help, but he knew better than to be overconfident with it.
I've heard the old adage that four-wheel drive helps you start going, but it doesn't help you stop.
And that is the real issue with ice.
And that's our Garrett Berger reporting. Now, more than a dozen school districts canceling classes tomorrow. Those include Blanco ISD, Fredericksburg ISD, Kerrville ISD, Comfort ISD, many others. We have a list of all the districts that are canceling classes tomorrow on our website, KSAT.com. That QR code is there because if you want to scan it, you can get a list of all of those schools. It'll direct you to our website.
When she comes, she's like throwing like some punches. In between the scuffle, I remember like grabbing her and like tripping her over one of my legs, and then she like falls, and that's when I kick her like twice when she fell.
So you just heard a snippet of the highly anticipated testimony of the Air Force major on trial for the death of his wife. Today, McDonald told jurors that his late wife, Andreen, punched him, then he tripped her and kicked her twice in the ribs. Erica Hernandez walks us through his testimony.
McDonald says what started as a loving marriage all changed when he discovered his wife was having an affair and trying to start a business in her own name. He says in February 2019, he noticed that Andreen was trying to start up a fourth business that he believed she was using both their assets to fund. He says they argued about the business all day on February 28th. McDonald told the court what happened when he got home.
She spits in my face. I grabbed her head. I think we had like a clash of heads, and I think it opened up like a cut somewhere on her face. I remember like grabbing her and like tripping her over one of my legs, and then she like falls, and that's when I kick her like twice. As soon as she fell, it was like a reaction, you know, so I landed like a couple of kicks.
He says after that, he noticed their daughter on the stairs. He took her back to bed, and when he went back downstairs, he noticed Andreen wasn't breathing.
I like drug her in the plastic bags, but before I did that, I think I used like a belt or something to like tie the two bags together. and then I drove her through the house. I got her in the trunk.
He then went on to describe how he ditched the body on another property and later went back to hit her with a hammer and light her on fire in anger. It's clear the defense is trying to show that Andreen was the aggressor in this situation. But during cross-examination, the state asked Andre about 2 other instances where he allegedly physically attacked her, but he denied that. To hear his entire testimony, you can go to our website, KSAT.com. At the Kennedy Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
And now on to another case that has the nation's attention. Even tonight, there are still protests in major cities across the country. People are calling for police reform as several Memphis police officers are fired and facing murder charges in the brutal beating of Tyre Nichols. ABC's Justin Finch on why the Scorpion Task Force is disbanded in Memphis and Nichols' death resonates across the U.S. But before we go to that story, we just want to warn you that the video you're about to see is graphic.
The city of Memphis and the nation rocked by the death of Tyre Nichols. Demands for justice growing after the release of this graphic video capturing Tyre Nichols' traffic stop arrest on January 7th.
Damn, I didn't do anything.
Police body camera footage showing officers pulling Nichols out of his car. An overhead surveillance camera capturing officers holding Nichols down as other officers kick him and beat him with a baton. 3 days later, the 29-year-old father died from his injuries. Now, these 5 fired officers are facing charges, including second-degree murder. They were part of a specialized crime task force called the Scorpion Unit, formed in November 2021 to patrol crime hotspots. That unit now permanently disbanded. Memphis police saying a 6th officer involved in the arrest has been relieved of his duties as part of the ongoing investigation. In Washington, the Nichols case reigniting calls for police reform.
I don't know if there's anything you can do to stop the kind of evil we saw in that video.
We need a national conversation about policing in a responsible, constitutional, and humane way.
And with several investigations underway, additional charges could be coming down soon, according to the Shelby County District Attorney. Authorities say 2 Memphis Fire EMTs and 2 county sheriff's deputies were pulled from duty pending the outcome of those investigations. Justin Finch, ABC News, Memphis.
Now back here at home, the man accused of pointing a BB gun at 2 SAPD officers has died. Jose Irhuegas had been in the hospital since January 4th when police shot him at a motel on Culebra Road near Northwest 18th Street. Initially, police went there for a report of a man with a gun. A body cam video shows one officer go to a room on the 2nd floor. As he walks away, Irhuegas steps out with a gun pointed at the officer. That's what you see there. Police say that that's when 2 officers opened fire. Those officers are now on administrative duty while San Antonio police investigate what happened. We're out of time right now. Please be careful on the roads tomorrow and stick around because on the Nightbeat, Adam Caskey is going to walk you through what you can expect over the next few days. So stay warm and have a good night.